Time is just gone 20 minutes past 8 a.m. We kick off this morning looking at August the 5th, which is just over a month away. Now, the question is, why is the 5th of August so significant? And this is significant in the Red for Kashmir campaign. We're joined on the line this morning by primary school teacher Claire Bidwell. She is a human rights activist and also a co-founder of Let Kashmir Decide. Claire, good morning to you and welcome to the show.
Good morning to you. It's lovely to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, Claire, obviously, August the 5th, very, very significant. But before we get to this campaign, we're going back to 2019. And in fact, I've just read briefly, your thoughts on Kashmir. But the key issue is at that point in time, the world, obviously, we know Kashmir has been off the radar for a very, very long time. It hasn't given a lot of focus, the mainstream media as well. But 2019, the 5th of August, really brought the plight of Kashmir and the Kashmiri people to light.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, prior to the 5th of August, I had never been aware of Kashmir. I'd never seen anything in the mainstream media or anything of it. Now, obviously, the Indian government or Modi, they went in overnight, locked down the country, no warning, no democracy, sent in thousands of troops, confined all the Kashmiris to their homes. They weren't allowed out. And they put in a communication blockade so that nobody could contact in and nobody could contact out, which obviously set off huge alarms. And they revoked their sort of self-autonomous status that they'd had prior to that, Article 370 35A, thus denying them from their, promised rights for self-determination, which they've been waiting for many years. And you're right, I think, the day that Modi went in and locked down Kashmir, it actually opened the world's eyes to what's been going on.
Yes. Now, obviously, a lot has happened in the last 70 odd years in Kashmir, and very little being reported by the mainstream media. And also, at the same time, we've seen what the Indian government has done, what the Modi government has done in terms of blocking things like social media, basically cutting Kashmir off from the rest of the world.
Yeah, and it's absolutely shocking. And, from the Western perspective or from any perspective, who does that? Where goes around doing that? It's just not acceptable. And I can't believe that half of the world seem to be going around with their eyes shut and unaware of what's going on. We've seen, as you say, lots going on. I mean, Amnesty International have been closed down in India as well, so nobody's able to go in and actually, find out for sure through there. There are human rights organizations in Kashmir trying to collect evidence, but reporters are being reporters are being locked up for opening their mouths. Nobody can come out on the streets and protest. You're not even allowed to speak. I mean, I myself have got a permanent ban on Twitter at the moment, just for, my tweets are always polite, pleasant. I just retweet what's happening, but it's obviously the Kashmir issue and what's going on. We're locked down from everywhere. Such is the strength of the Indian economy, I think, throughout our world.
Now, Claire, as the co-founder of Let Kashmir Decide, what are you hoping to achieve?
Our main thing that we're hoping to achieve is global unity, really. This came from the Kashmiris, the 5th of August, when they turned their profiles red. It was calling out that alarm for everybody, letting the bloodshed know. So we are raising those voices, really, and we want to achieve global unity, reach out to everybody, let the international community know what's going on, so that we're standing in solidarity, we're raising awareness, and we want people to turn their profiles red on the 5th of August. We want them to upload posts of themselves wearing red, use the hashtag Red for Kashmir. We're looking for people to protest and tell people around you, tell anybody you know what's going on. Ultimately, we're looking for self-determination for the Kashmiris. We're looking for the area to be demilitarized and decolonized, and for their human rights to be fully met.
Yes. Now, obviously, we've seen what has happened not very long ago in Palestine and the Israeli government is concerned. And in many instances, whatever is happening in Palestine is being mirrored in Kashmir. And when we're talking about global unity for Kashmir, the type of global unity we've seen as far as the Palestinian struggle is concerned, I suppose you're looking at pretty much the same as far as the struggle for Kashmir and the self-determination of the Kashmiri people goes, Claire.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've seen perhaps with the Kashmir, Palestinians, they're so strong in their approach. They're united. There are people with them on the inside, mirroring out on the outside. The Kashmiris seem to have, where they've had their divide and rule, where people at the end of the day, whether they want to go with Pakistan, whether they want to be independent, or however they want to vote. And that's caused some kind of going against one another, and perhaps has split the cause a little bit. So what we're really hoping is that everybody, wherever the Kashmiris are, the Kashmiri diaspora, and everybody around the world will unite and work together for self-determination. And equally, Palestinians are working for Kashmir also, and Kashmiris have always supported the Palestinian cause. So as you said there, recognize that connection that's going on. And there's other, lots of atrocities going on elsewhere, that we've seen, Syria and other places. And so that kind of global unity that we're talking about, ultimately, we would like to see everybody that's standing up for peace and for humanity all coming together and working together for all those causes, because they have, very similar connections in the way our world is organized, really, with terms of economy and who has the power. And quite a disregard, really, for human beings, whoever you are and wherever you are. And this should come, humanity should come above everything. So, our aims are high. We can all work together to make this difference.
Yes. Now, also what is significant is to open the eyes of the governments around the world to the plight of the Kashmiris, because this is what we've seen over the years. Governments haven't been focused on the Kashmiri issue. We've seen, like, for instance, in the case of Palestine, we've seen countries like Ireland, we've seen many other prominent people, we've seen prominent political leaders obviously coming out, adopting a very, very strong stance against Israel. And once again, as far as Kashmir is concerned, I suppose, Claire, looking at governments, targeting governments, opening their eyes, but more importantly, action that needs to be taken.
Yes, totally. And I think that is at the root of our work as well. We're formed from many of us in this campaign and my own organisation or movement. We are from the grassroots level. We're from the people connecting with the people. And that's what we're trying to do, bring it up from the ground level. And the aim is that our governments in our individual countries, particularly those that are governments that have the holding power in the United Nations, they're the ones that can make the big difference. So, United Nations, USA, Russia, Canada, France, and we really can make the difference. We're looking at, for Glasgow, looking at holding a car rally that will travel from Glasgow to Edinburgh Parliament, and hopefully get other people coming up from the UK to make a noise here, because obviously in Scotland we're looking for self-determination, the referendum for independence, and we don't have anywhere near the abuses or the atrocities that have gone on. So it's a country that could have some power in this. But you're right, ultimately the people, we've got to take our message to our governments, and then we're needing our governments to act for us. And we want to see the United Nations get functional, actually work and do the job that it was set up for, because its article and charters, its resolutions are amazing, and if it actually worked and was functioning, that would be really helpful. So yes, you're right, it comes from the people to our governments, really, and the more we can make aware and get involved, then the better for us. But I think also we really want to make that connection with the Kashmiris in terms of this is their battle, and we want to raise their voices out beyond that, because they've stood resilient for so long, and it's about us letting them know, right, you're not alone, and yes, we are going to act, as you say, to make this difference, and not just talk about it, but to do something about it.
Yes, Claire. And obviously, you would like to make maximum impact as far as this campaign is concerned. And advance notification, we over a month away, and sufficient time, obviously, to prepare for August the 5th, but at the same time as well, lobby people, garner support, and not only support in your part of the world, but also in terms of extending this campaign, looking at organizations, human rights organizations, activists right across the entire world. So, comes August the 5th, we'd like to obviously see maximum impact as far as this campaign is concerned.
Yes, absolutely. And we have good networks already in place, and so many famous activists or well-known activists joining this campaign, along with, big organizations coming in as well. So that is spreading the word outwards, and that's something we'll all keep, working to do, reaching out, meeting as many people as we can. So, if anybody as well out there is listening that sees this campaign, they can take this forward themselves. It's a case of it's a movement that's growing. I might be here being the spokesperson, but it's kind of running itself as well, with everybody and their organizations taking their stand and doing their bit. And that's what we'd like to see, is for those organizations and activists to think, right, how can I maximize the input of this campaign? What can we bring to it wherever they are in the world? And so it's heartening already to see, America and Australia coming forward in this, South Africa, France. There are many countries, and these red cards that we're sharing, the posters, are showing the people that standing up as support, and there's a real unity of them coming in, with politicians from both sides of the waters just now as well, standing up. So yes, you're right. We just, want to maximize the awareness and reach to as many as possible.
Yes, and obviously we shouldn't be held back with the pandemic with COVID-19, because as you mentioned, what you're planning out in Scotland as well, the motorcade, and these are just some ideas. These are still just some initiatives, but at the end of the day, it will obviously result in creating that awareness, but more importantly, putting pressure.
Yes, totally. And we want to see people doing that everywhere. I mean, COVID, we can't let COVID stop us, because we still all live here, and our human rights and our quality of life are, over and above that. But you're right. We at the same time, we don't want to take, spread COVID everywhere with our protests. So I think it's just being clever and thoughtful in how we do it. And sometimes it doesn't always have to be mass numbers. You can hold vigils, you can hold visual kind of, scenes of what's happening in Kashmir to bring that message. And social media as well, obviously, is so important, but trying to reach all of us somehow as well. The bigger that we can make this, the more pressure we can put on, at the council level, at the regional levels, the better, the more opportunities we get to share this news, or anybody gets to share this news. It raises the awareness of it, and anything that we can come up with to support, the Kashmiris and what's happening, is ideal.
Well, Claire, thank you very much for that and for your time with us this morning. And I'm sure, from now right until the 5th of August, from time to time, we obviously will get regular updates in the build-up to the campaign, in the build-up to the 5th of August, Red Day for Kashmir.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Thank you ever so much. And, we've gained a lot of traction in a very short time. So we're hoping to keep on this trajectory and really pull off something amazing. Thank you.
Well, all the best to you, and please be safe. Take care.
Yes, thank you. And you.
Claire Bidwell joining us this morning, Red for Kashmir campaign. She is with Let Kashmir Decide, a co-founder and also human rights activist.